Jeremiah, and I want to thank you, Alan. I want to first of all, I want to say to you, no one has a right to no human being has a right to tell another human being how they are to address the Most High. And I know in a previous teaching, I stated that we tend to, because of the way we've been taught, it's almost as if we put ourselves over the Most High. And when Deacon Green was sharing two instances that he could remember of, because there have been many others too, some that he wasn't even aware of, some that many of us aren't aware of, where we were delivered from harm. And in the vein in which he said it was his God, he says, my God. I understand what he was saying. And I immediately, I felt bad. I mean, he wasn't attacking me. He was sharing from the heart. And so the Most High knows, he knows the heart better than any man. What I was referring to was, once again, my nemesis, system teaching. Because a lot of what we call gospel music infers. To infer something is to suggest. And it has infiltrated the way people pray. Sometimes the songs that they sing, the lyrics in the song, would tend to make a novice, or what we call a young believer, to think they can perhaps manipulate the Most High like we do with one another. And you're saying, where is he going with all of this? What I'm saying is, he is your God. He is my God. But he is the Ancient of Days. He is as personal as he is corporate. And I don't know what other words to use. But I did not ever want to give the impression, because like he said, when the Most High had a messenger grab the wheel and turn it another way, he delivered Greg. So we can understand when he said, my God. Yes, his God delivered him. But my God was our God. And our God was Yah. So if you got offended by what I said in previous teaching, I'll just say this. The songs and the lyrics that infer that a person can manipulate the Most High, that is erroneous. And it is something that should not be looked at casually. This morning in Insight, we had some very interesting material that was shared, and it gave all those that had the opportunity to watch it and listen to it. My prayer is that we will realize that we are too casual. We are too, see, there's so much going on around us that we, just because we don't deem it important, it still doesn't stop it from occurring. Now, all of us have a purpose. There's a purpose as to why every one of us sitting here breathing. There's a purpose for every soul that's sitting here breathing that you were created for. My mistake, that we were created for. And the only thing is, I would encourage us all, myself included, get back to His purpose for our lives. Many of us have created our own pursuits. And I'm not saying you miss God because you've got some aspirations. But I will say this and then get into the lesson. Everything takes a knee to the purpose by which you were created, by which we were created. And it will behoove all of us to go to the manufacturer and ask for our job description. Some of us may already know what was in our job description, and we might have read somebody else and said, "Ooh, I like that better." And some of us might have read our job description and said, "Well, I don't want to do that. I want to do something else." I know myself, I've had periods in my life where I say, "Well, Father, can I have another assignment?" That really wasn't my place to ask. If we got any military personnel in here, I don't think you get to go to your commanding officer and say, "Well, I was thinking about that, but I kind of want to do something else." I don't know. I don't have a military background. I know on your jobs, sometimes if you're given an assignment and you've already agreed to work for whatever, and if it falls within the description, you kind of got to do it. And I'm very much aware that Yah is in control of everything, even though things seem chaotic to us. And even when things don't go the way we think it should go. Because again, we've been trained that if you say a thing a certain way, or you look a certain way, or you do certain things, God's got to answer. God don't gotta do nothing but what he want to do. And we need to understand that. Creation does not dictate to the creator. I don't care that we're in a Western culture and we're in a capitalistic system and whatever philosophy I choose to prescribe to. Peanut butter, and that's to keep from using profanity. Peanut butter. We have mankind. They get together and they form some kind of coalition. And they decide, well, we're going to do this way. And this is what we will disseminate among the people. And some of us, whatever they put on our plate, we lap it up. And sometimes we ask for more. We need to stop doing that. Some of us, we're steadily eating stuff and it's giving us indigestion and we can't figure it out. Stop eating that stuff. Some of us are still drinking milk and we should be eating strong meat. And we still, more milk, please, more milk. Jeremiah, and I'm going to start in chapter 10. And I'll start in 10:22, and it says follows. Give an ear. It says, listen, a noise. It's coming closer. A great uproar from the land to the north to make the cities of Judah desolate. A place for jackals to live. This is Yah speaking right now, but now Jeremiah is saying this. Listen to this. He says, Yah. They have Adonai listed here. I like Yah. It says, Yah, I know the way of humans is not in their control. Humans are not able to direct their steps as they walk. Here's where I really want to get to. And I think this will speak to a lot of our lives. And with some of the uncertainty or whatever that many of us are dealing with. Listen to this. He says, Yah, correct me, but in moderation, not in your anger, or you'll reduce me to nothing. You know, I've said in times past that I was, and this isn't about me, but I'm just trying to tie this in together. I used the phrase. I said, you know, I'm circling the wagons. And I am because, you know, of myself, I can do nothing. I can make matters worse by myself. And I know that we've been instructed, you know, to, what is this phrase they like to say all the time? Let go and let God. You know, you hear that in movies, and I've seen it on bumper stickers and all of that, and that's That's more of some system teaching, but I'm not going to get into that today. I think what frustrates me and what irritates me, and it's not about me per se, but I think some of you share some of the same frustration, is that you come to realize with things becoming more and more grave, the tools that we thought we had are almost useless. It's like somebody gave you a bunch of butter knives and told you to carry that in to a gunfight. And you think you're armed and you're a warrior and you're ready for war, and you're going to get annihilated with inaccurate information. Singing songs that give you the impression somehow you can manipulate the Most High if you pray a certain way. Delusion has taken hold in a lot of prayers. Strange fire going up and people thinking they sending up timber. These are serious times, people. Serious times for all of us, believers and non-believers alike. And yet, we can still enjoy life. But even in the enjoying, we need to learn how, because yes, we ought to pray. But we got to learn how to watch as well as pray. And what do I mean by watching? Watching as well as praying is by doing what he's instructing you to do while you pray. A wonderful suggestion was made that maybe we would come back and we would come here and we would pray. But I'll tell you what's even more effective is while you're at home around your family. Not that you start praying around them, because they'll be like, okay, mama back at it again, daddy back at it again. But that you would begin to realize and understand the things that he wants us to do would help us worship and hallow his name by how we live daily while we're doing what we would consider the mundane things of life. Taking the trash out, keeping your promise, showing up when you told somebody you would show up, keeping your word, holding up your end. Yeah, that's worshiping the Most High. Being a person, being a man or a woman of integrity. Among wolves, among vipers, among scum. And some people are scum. And while you're doing that, and I mess up, I'm going to come back to me now because I'm getting ready to say something ugly. And while I'm trying to walk out his teachings and instructions and live by them, not just recite them and halfway impress people. Because again, see, the thing about his instructions is if I ain't living it, then I don't know it. But again, it's been suggested that if I can recite it, I must know it. These subtle differences can make the difference between life and death. The more serious things become in life. See, it's not a game. Greg also conveyed, he said, listen, I'm tired of playing church. Me too. And I'm looking for more that feel the same way. Because serious times are coming. And again, now, it doesn't all have to be bad. It does. Yeah, and I know we saw some troubling stuff this morning. And even when we grow weary, even when we, what is it? We sang a song, it don't matter what it look like, don't matter what it feel like. Because sometimes when you're doing all you can and we don't see immediate results, we might get a little weary. And some of us have learned, again, I'll go back to myself, I have some whining sessions, but I try not to whine around some people. But the one that made me, he know. And you know, the beauty of it is he allows me to whine. But again, I go back to, he's like, man, you still whining to me about this? Barry, you still want a glass of milk? I need a man that will stand. And you still want some milk? Which brings me back to what I read a little earlier, because I didn't forget it. Yah, correct me. And sometimes, you know, you might say, well, you know, Father. And I say, man, this is hard. Sometimes when my dad would come to the house, I said, Pop, what are we doing wrong? I said, it shouldn't be this difficult. And of course, I didn't have the same desire that he had. And he would just say, hey, you know, basically he said, stay the course. Yah, correct me, but in moderation. I tell you, we all been there. We messed up, and you know, sometimes your parents will say, boy, I'm gonna get you, but not right now. You know, in our house, it would be like, just go sit down. Because we frustrated them. I frustrated them to a point where they had to wait. And see, sometimes he's like that with us. I see, again, the thing, listen, I'm not trying to throw shade, but I'm telling you folks, we have been trained to think that everything we do is cute, and it's not. And I would that they had never started feeding us that stuff, because some of us believe it wholeheartedly. You can hear it in a person's prayer. Yes, we're fearfully and wonderfully made. But when you want to see sometimes the shortfallings of man, get into Jeremiah, get into Isaiah, get into some of those books, and stop reading about, I'm going to get another this, I'm going to get another that. And there's nothing wrong with getting stuff. But that's not your purpose. That's not our purpose. Does anybody remember when it says we were created for his pleasure? Well, how many of us remember that when we going after what we going after? We thinking about him then? Oh, well, Barry, see, you don't understand. The Most High says, well, for a period of time, my life will be a bed of roses. So who wrote that song, I beg your pardon, I never promised you a rose garden? Did y'all write that? Job talked about that, said, listen, should we only love God or serve God only for the good and not the bad? But see, with what's been taught to us, we kind of think, okay, give your heart to the Lord and everything will be great. There'll be challenges. There are going to be challenges. And yes, sometimes we grow weary. And when we do, we get off key. We stop accurately following his instructions. And so we begin to lean on doctrines and philosophies and other stuff that make us feel better. That's dangerous. Put no man's doctrine, no man's philosophy. Listen, if Yah said it, we got to do it. And it's like he said earlier, he said, listen, just do what he say do, but then don't do what if he say don't do it, then folks, let's not do it. I don't care how popular, I don't care what other churches are doing. He said, Yah, correct me, but in moderation, not in your anger, or you'll reduce me to nothing. How many of you have ever had situations in your life where you literally were reduced to nothing? I know I had it happen, and it happened to me concerning finances. And I don't ever want to be broke. I mean, no. When you don't have any money, you poor. You ain't broke. Broke is when you don't have any money on you, but you got another check coming. I had a period in my life, and I've told you about it, I ain't going into it again. But one night in the hospital, when I moved back to Virginia, after living in a certain state for 2 years, no job, looked like to me, that boy knew something about managing money. Never got a notice on my door. Never got my lights turned off. Why am I saying that? I'm saying that because, see, a lot of people think that their profession or their business or whatever, it's going to see me through. And I'm saying, and it may, and I hope it does. But don't put your hope in your business, your career, your social standing. That stuff can be gone before you get to your car. But I had $1,300 left. Got an infected tonsil. And all the guy did, he took a needle. My dad drove me to the emergency room. Took a needle, and I'm not exaggerating. That needle was about this long, the needle. And he didn't deaden it because he had to go under my tongue. And it's soft up under there. I know y'all think I do have a hard head, but had to go under the tongue and extract that, whatever it was, infection out. So I figured, and it hurt when he was taking it out, but when he took it all out, I felt better. So I figured, pay a couple of $100, get to go back home. No, you need to stay for observation. Homeboy had a set of golf clubs he wanted to get. So they gave me a room. I wasn't even a private room. I had to share a room with somebody. And they released me the next day. And guess what the amount was when I got to the pay window? And that's all I had left, y'all. That's all I had left. That's all. That's all. That's all I had left. Gave him my credit card. You know they ran it. And I was thinking, well, I'll do this over time. And see, I'm going somewhere with this because see, the same thing is happening. The governmental system that we're all still combating, and it doesn't matter whether you're retired or not. The whole system is designed for us to not only live past what we bring home, and remember this, you might have what's the popular thing? A six-figure income. But you know as well as I do, you ain't taking six figures home. But the system says, hey, no problem. You can live off credit. But I went ahead and I sent in all the money because I was like, man, I don't have a job. So I paid it. And then I realized I got nothing. Now, yes, my parents were gracious enough to let me move back in. Now, can you imagine? Big time executive. When that, I guess I can say this, when that Dalcon Shield thing happened with that pharmaceutical company that my dad worked for, bad. Living his, as they say now, at the time he was living his best life. I call, Pop, don't worry about nothing. Y'all come on, move down here. I'm going to get you a house across the street. I called him and told him. He was like, what are you talking about? I done retired, and that's when I first heard about y'all. You retired? Yeah. Oh, man, they had a thing for me, and, man, all these people. I was like, oh, okay. Because when I heard about that Dalcon Shield, that was on the news, and I was like, oh, my goodness. But for him to reduce me, I realized, I was like, well, I said at the time, I said, I'm broke. But I was poor, y'all. And Vince and Ronnie Brown gave me a job driving truck. That's right. Yes, sir. I guess they got tired of it. And people meant well. You found anything yet? No. And you know what the next thing? I'm praying for you. Thank you. I was complaining. And I remember my mother said to me, she said, you know, Barry, even the way you got back here, you could have come back in a lot worse shape. But see, I too was going to one of those churches that they had recommended. And I was getting a lot of system teaching. And I thought all I had to do was, you know, as long as I was, paying my tithes, serving God, and going to church, was even doing stuff in the church. I thought all of that was it. And, you know, a lot of other people got disillusioned. When stuff get real, you're going to find out a lot of jargon don't work. In fact, you'll get to the point where you be like, please, no more, please. I know you mean well, please. And sometimes you can get off the path that he set because we start thinking, okay, I got to do something fast. Anybody ever been in a situation where you say, oh, I got to make some fast money? Some of y'all know when you use that term fast money, it don't necessarily mean it's good, honorable money. Fast money. And sometimes you'll find out easy come, easy go sometimes. But sometimes, folks, what I'm trying to convey to you is even when he bring you to nothing, you know, the beauty of it is he's going to build you back up. My mother, she used to laugh because she said that's back when the paper used to come out. I think it was the Times Dispatch. And I'd run out there, run to the end of the driveway, grab that paper, get the classified ads. I'm looking in the ads. She said, after you got that job with the insurance company, you back out and roll right over the paper. Oh, she joked me about that for the longest. Yes, she did. She said, oh, isn't it something how folks change? But here he's saying, Yes, Father, correct me. And really, listen, when we're getting corrected, it's not pleasant. It's not pleasant. You know, some of us have had to take castor oil, and we know that's some nasty stuff. But after you got it down, you felt better a little while. And it's kind of the same thing with him. Sometimes he carries us through something, and he'll let us hit a low point. But it feels like he's left us, but no, he's like, okay, now that I got your attention. And I've told some of you, I said, well, Father, now, Jeremiah said, correct me, but in moderation. Here's what I did. Try to be slick. Well, Father, if it's something you want me to know, just show it to me. Let's not have to. Let's not. Please don't. Don't touch my finances. Can we make a deal? Now here I'm trying to make a deal. Please don't. I don't do well broke. Keep saying broke. I was poor. I didn't have any more money. And for me, that was an awful feeling. Boy, you like money too much. Well, it's hard living without it in America. Now, I know I called the government Jody, because Jody got a lot of our girls and went, because Jody slipping them a little money, and Jody got them thinking, I don't need you. Okay. And folks, for the record, we need each other. Let me say that again. We need each other. Any of you been watching, and it's even on social media, the layoffs are coming by the thousands. I don't want to call no store names, but stores are closing. My goodness. And I mean, what we would consider household name stores. Been around forever. Something's happening, folks, and it ain't just happening here in the States. But Jeremiah had the sense to say, he didn't try to make a deal. He said, correct me, but in moderation, not in your anger, or you'll reduce me to nothing. And then he asked him, now he said, pour out your anger on the nations that do not acknowledge you, also on the families that do not call on your name. For they have consumed Jacob, consumed him and finished him off, and laid waste to his home. Now in 11. So what am I saying? What I'm saying is sometimes when we get tired and we feel like, well, I don't want to do this no more. No, don't quit. Don't quit. Just take a knee. That's what they used to tell us in football practice. Take a knee if you get tired. Take a knee. They did not want to see you sitting down. So if them coaches ain't want to see you sitting down, the Most High don't want to see his soldiers sitting down on the job. So take a knee, but stay in your post. Men, give an ear. Here is the word that came to Jeremiah from Yah. Listen to this. Listen to the words, this is in 11. Listen to the words of this covenant. Then speak to the people of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Tell them that Yah, the God of Israel, says. Now listen at this, because see, again, there's so many different messages going out. But see, when Yah speaks, I know we learn when E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. But folks, when Yah speaks, all creation should listen. All creation should listen. And again, nobody's doctrine, nobody's philosophy, nobody's whatever. what did they call us? Nobody's mastermind class. None of that stuff. That stuff is peanut butter. And you got people latching on to it, putting their anchor in that stuff. And I'm like, my goodness. Man, listen to yourself. You sound crazy. Oh, boy. What is it? Garbage in, garbage out? Listen to this. He said, Yah said, tell these people, a curse on anyone who does not pay attention to the words of this covenant, which I enjoined on your ancestors at the time that I brought them out of the land of Egypt, out of the iron smelter. I said, listen to my voice and carry out all my orders. And then listen, strange thing, folks. Even in among all of the different houses of worship that's got a whole different message, listen at this. Listen to my voice and carry out all my orders. Then you will be my people, and I will be your God. See, we heard the He's my God. You're right. I'm going to read that again. Listen to my voice and carry out all my orders. He said that before he said, then you will be my people, and I will be your God, so that I can fulfill the oath that I swore to your ancestors to give them a land flowing with milk and honey as it is today. See, you know, a lot of times there's certain books we like to gravitate to. But I would submit to you folks, read the whole book, and please start at the beginning. I know a lot of places want you to start almost in the middle. The beginning sets the foundation. And for as smart as some of us think we are, why didn't we realize that? Let me read that again. Listen to my voice and carry out all my orders. Now, here they translated it orders. But again, for church folk, you can put commandments or instructions. And then the word that nobody likes is law. That word gives folk a problem. In fact, in some circles, they don't even use that word. Listen to my voice and carry out all my orders. Then you will be my people. Now, then, what is then there for? In other words, you don't just get to proclaim, I'm a child of the Most High, and you ain't doing nothing that he say. Wasn't there a passage in the Bible where somebody said, what they call it, they may have addressed him as Lord, and he said, why are you calling me Lord? You don't do nothing I say. You know, I mean, sometimes when we cutting up, and then we want to ask our parents for something, they say, what you coming to me for? You ain't been acting like my child. Now you gonna come to me and you want what? Well, it's kind of the same way with us. I mean, we go through a lot of sometimes religious calisthenics, but we ain't bit more paying attention to his orders. We doing what we want to do. And some of us can be so arrogant, we expect him to bless it. Now that's real dangerous. That's real dangerous. And again, you can hear it in their prayers. You can hear it in their speech. And I hold responsible the people that was teaching us stuff. And folks lapping it up like it's something good to eat. And it's making them sick. Folks' lives ruined. Marriages busted up. Listen to my voice and carry out all my orders. Then you will be my people, and I will be your God, so that I can fulfill the oath that I swore to your ancestors to give them a land flowing with milk and honey as it is today. So even with the troubling stuff that we saw earlier, you know, if we would just follow his orders as he say, it may go past us. And again, I'm not just talking about the United States of America. Please. He's creator of all, not just the United States. And everything that goes on here, and this is more my opinion, the United States does not dictate to Yah. That's my opinion. The United States of America does not dictate to Yahweh. Heaven is not holding its breath because we got something going on over here. And we as believers need to realize that. So what am I saying? I'm saying, Father, of course correct me, but please in moderation, not in your anger, or you will reduce me to nothing. Men, most of us, we were built to work. Well, where did you get that from? What he told Adam. What did he say to Adam? When you get 65, you can retire? I don't think he said that. Now, I'm not against retirement. Please, I don't want folks waiting on me. I'm not saying that. But I'm trying to show you how things have been instituted that don't match up with what he said. And for the scholars that are here, if you can show me where he changed that, I'll apologize to you and to this congregation. He said, man, listen. You work by the sweat of your brow. And we know that in the beginning, it seemed to indicate things was pretty nice. Little mist would come up, stuff would grow, stuff was lush, stuff was, and then, you know, I don't want to get into the turn of events, but the turn of events are still affecting us today. But I'm not trying to, I just said, we need each other. So I'm not throwing down stakes. You know, I don't want to fight nobody. I really don't. I really want us to circle the wagons, and by circling the wagons, I mean I really want us to care for one another. I really want us to be concerned, not in a nosy way, but concerned that each household that's represented here, that there's peace, Yah's peace in the household. I want the grandchildren and children back in here so they can be taught the instructions so that they can make better decisions than we did. I pray we not be so casual thinking we got it made, because we don't got it made. We say we love them. But you remember, Pastor told us, love is an action word, not just, come here, let me kiss your jaw. Yeah, that's showing some affection. But sometimes, because you love somebody, sometimes you might have to have a little strong talk with them. They're our future. I see it, Reg. That information that was shared, it had a lot of interesting perspectives. But remember this, it doesn't have to wipe us out. He's giving us an opportunity to carry out all his orders. He said, listen to his voice. Again, not a doctrine, not a philosophy, not a mastermind group. He said, listen to my voice. And all of us know, we all know that passage where he said, my sheep know my voice. See, it's certain things we just know instinctively. But I'll close with this. Okay, you might know it to recite it, but again, if we're not doing it, then just because you can recite it, we're not getting the benefit. Listen to my voice and carry out all my orders. Then you will be my people, and I will be your God. Bless you.